This is Messages from the Universe with Lori Wondra of Your Life Core. Here, Lori delivers information from the Mastery Realms related to astrology, planetary influences, energy surges, and generally how we are evolving. She connects with angels, guides, ascended masters, astro beings, and those that come forward with messages to help us on our journey. Welcome, everyone, to Messages from the Universe podcast.
Hello, this is Lori Wondra, and thank you for listening. I promised this week I'd talk about the power of the sun and codes and keys, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. With the elevation of shifting energy, we are experiencing even more shedding, consolidation, and releasing of energy that doesn't fit. I've talked before about the collapsing of our timelines, but part of what we're releasing from the collapsing of our past is that the emotions, beliefs, physical energy, lots of possibilities to what humans can and will shed at this time. And we will be feeling it all. We will be feeling it all as our emotional body changes, our mental bodies, and the beliefs we hold in our mental body changes alongside that. This in itself is a feat. And over time, we've figured out how to manage these great shifts in energy. It's a normal process, actually. Over lifetimes, we've been taught or have learned from life experiences on how to run from or protect our energy, our physical energy. And as we awaken more, we also have learned to protect or run from our emotional energy or our mental energy. And as souls, we've gone through lifetimes of shifts in all of these areas. We all have tools, but the tools are shifting as we shift. We're remembering and we're actually forgetting some tools that we just don't need anymore. We continue to learn. And with that, we declutter, we purge, we expand, we accept. Some of the tools that we've learned in the past were to wrap our fields in white light. That was to protect us, shielding our own light, cutting ourselves off from what we experience. We learned to wipe off energy, walk away from it or avoid it altogether. Run, hide, or stay and fight. And at this time, we're tired of running. The universe is asking us to stay, to exist in the energy and understand it, experience the energy, and shift how you think about it, or gain different tools to address it. With everything that is changing and shifting for us, we can't help but experience some version of fear. So I also want to ask, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you will feel something? I'll feel something that I don't like. Then that's just a fear of your own emotions and running from feeling something. But what if the universe is wanting you to feel so that you can evolve, so that your compass can evolve? Are you afraid you won't feel anything? I've learned over my years of working with people that not everyone feels or experiences a shift at the same level or at the same time. If you're in a room or you've ever been in a room where there's a group experience and people are talking about what they felt or what they saw or how they shifted, let's say you didn't feel anything or you didn't have this grandiose shift, you might be more apt to simply agree with what others are saying to be part of that group experience versus acknowledging that you may not have felt or experienced anything, or you might have experienced it totally different. Harvard introduced a test years ago, and this test has been repeated in similar methods over years, again and again and again. And it shows us how groupthink and group influence happens. The experiment is this. There are 4 actors sitting in a room, and they are there to fill out paperwork as part of an application process. They are told that when they hear a bell ring, they are to stand. When they hear the bell again, they are to sit down again. And during this entire time, whether they're standing or sitting, they are to continue with the test and act like nothing's happening, like this is normal. A new student then is admitted to the room, and he does not know anything about the bell, nor that these other 4 people in the room are actors. He just thinks they're students, and they're all there to fill out this paperwork. So the student walks in, sits down, and begins to fill out the paperwork. When the bell rings, the 4 actors stand up, and you can see the confusion on the student's face. The bell rings again, and the 4 actors sit down. It only takes 2 more times of this bell ringing and the actor standing and sitting before the student starts to stand and sit with the ringing bell also. Now, as the actors begin to leave and new students are added, and over time they continue to stand and sit with the bell, finally, all the actors have been replaced with just students. There's no actors in the room, but the students who continue with the routine of sitting and standing do so with the ringing of the bell, but they don't understand why. And you can repeat this test again and again and again. When I was in college taking a psychology class, we did this group experiment in an elevator where there were about 5 or 6 of us that got into the elevator and remained looking to the back of the elevator. Now, you might realize that elevator etiquette is that when you step in, you turn around, you face the door, but we were facing the back of the elevator. And at the elevator, as it stopped at floor 1, one of us would get off and another one of our group would get in and face the back of the elevator. And as people that were not part of our group would come in, they would stand and face the front of the elevator, but they would look uncomfortable. By the 4th floor, by the time we stopped on the 4th floor, all of those in the elevator that were not part of our group had also turned to the back of the elevator. And this was all to conform with the group experience. So this makes me wonder where we are in this time and era. Are you worried you are or aren't feeling what everybody else is experiencing? Do you tend to or want to be part of the group, but you're not? You're feeling that you're different. Believe me, you are part of a group. Might not be the group that you're with, but you are part of a collective consciousness. Are you afraid you won't recognize when something happens, or that you will be confused in some way, not able to explain what's happening? And as humans, we like to know. We don't like confusion. We don't like saying, I don't know what's going on with me. We like to know what's going on. I mention this experiment simply because with new tools coming to the surface and some of your tools that you've learned in previous lifetimes, when those come in, check in with yourself. Ask if this makes sense to you, because parts of the codes and the keys that are coming into us are shutting off things that we no longer need, and we're shedding those things, and they're turning on things. So they're turning on skills we've picked up along the way. They might even be turning on skills of a past lifetime that are kind of quirky or odd, and we have to register them and really ponder if it makes sense to take on this tool in this lifetime or release that too. I've heard a lot of discussion around fear of someone stealing your energy or latching on to you, being empathetic, and through lifetimes and years with old tools of wrapping ourselves in that bubble of light, that just shuts us down. And when we learn to wipe off energy or walk away from it or avoid it, run, hide, or stay and fight, well, this is also giving in to the belief that we're not powerful enough. And part of the codes and the keys that are turning on, and I want you to have access to, is understanding you are powerful. To stay present and experience the shift of energy. And when you feel something odd, or it feels a little bit slimy or sticky, or it just doesn't feel right, understand you have that power. And it's okay to wipe off the energy, shake it off, jump in the shower, surround yourself in a bubble of light, but don't do it out of fear. Don't do it because you're afraid something is going to get you. Don't do it because you're afraid somebody might be dumping their energy on you. Believe me, as everyone is shedding, it has to go somewhere. It goes to Mother Earth. It goes up into the Grandfather Universe. It goes into our space. And we are going to feel that more. We're going to feel that sticky residue, but don't resort back into fear or something's going to harm you. You also might be working on releasing for yourself what no longer serves you. And as that is released, you might also find yourself wondering, where does it go? If I just released an emotion of sadness, of some experience, well, where does it go? Don't be afraid of feeling that energy. Don't be afraid and think that that energy will make you sick or depressed or some other sort of way. It can, but challenge yourself to use your power to ignite your light and believe that you have all the skills and the tools to release it. Are you afraid that you might have to care? You might have to do something or take action. You might have to actually interact with another human to heal or to expand or to understand. Maybe you fear you can't control your emotions, or you won't be able to control the situation. You won't be able to regulate your energy. We are entering into a time of probably the biggest transformation of our energy fields. And with that biggest transformation, it doesn't just happen. There's work behind it. There's work in us feeling it and shifting our mental thoughts about what we are feeling and shifting our thoughts about the tools that we have or need to navigate this energy. That's the shift. It's being aware. And if you want to be in control, it's being aware and using your power to shift how you think about the shift. That's really awakening. One of my favorite photos that reminds me of the endurance that we have available to us. It happens to be a photo of a buffalo, just his head, and he's covered in snow. There's snow packed and it's sticking to his fur, and there's a blast of steam coming out of his nostrils. And you look at the photo and you understand that he's walking into a snowstorm. And I think it's so beautiful because we perceive the toughness of the buffalo, and we understand that they have this ability to withstand all that snow and the snowstorm in their face, to even be able to navigate and see through a blizzard or a snowstorm. Did you know that buffalo have this marvelous receptor that allows them to gauge the intensity of the snowstorm? So they have a tendency to walk into a storm as they know that may be the quickest way through it. They typically don't walk away from it because they know the storm will just follow them, and they won't stand still, but they'll move into the storm face first, knowing they will leave the storm this way, knowing that this too will pass. And if they use their skills, their tools, their tenacity, they'll survive. They stand in the storm. Now let's talk about the sun, because the sun is a huge gateway and it feeds us. It gives the earth and us nutrients. When the sun feeds the plants, we eat the plants, or we eat foods that eat the plants. We receive energy from the sun. We receive codes and keys and programs and upgrades and changes to our systems through our environment and through the experiences of our environment. And are you afraid of the sun? When I say we received codes and keys and information in the form of energy through a gateway of the sun, does that scare you? I hope not. The sun feeds us. But sometimes when we don't understand something, we fear it. And that's what many of you might be experiencing right now is, what's all this talk about this big shift and awakening and the gateways and the sun flares and the Schumann resonance is way out of whack. Does it scare you? Well, first of all, do you believe? What do you believe? Use your mental processes to be open to listen and gain information and then decide as you go. The sun is a large body of energy in space that's 150 million kilometers away from Earth. The sun's energy makes life possible on Earth. The power of the sun, the temperature in itself, the surface is 6,000 degrees Celsius. That's 10,832 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 126 trillion horsepower that's sent to Earth. 400 septillion watts. That's 400 trillion watts. The heat from the sun creates weather and winds. Its energy can be used to run machines, yet most of the sun's energy is lost actually out to space. The Earth only receives about 1 2-billionth of the sun's total energy. So in terms of frequency, let's just do a few scientific comparisons. And I'm going to talk in terms of hertz. The daytime frequency of the human body is running between 62 to 68 hertz. The heart beats at 1 to 2.5 hertz. The brain at 1 to 70 hertz. Earth itself is at 7.83 hertz. The sun, though, is at 5.964 gigahertz. And a gigahertz is a 1 with 9 zeros behind it. I'm going to add water in there just for some other scientific coolness, as that water vibrates from 90 to 110 terahertz. And 1 terahertz is a 1 with 12 zeros behind it. So think about the water content within our body and the sun rays or the sun vibration interacting with our human body as a whole and the organs that we have within the body. I've recently gotten a lot of questions about quantum physics, and we'll hear more terms as even quantum computing or quantum computers come into frame in this lifetime for us. But quantum physics is a branch of science that deals with discrete, indivisible units of energy called quanta, as described by the quantum theory. Now, quantum physics allows for particles to be in two states at the same time. And there's 5 key areas that are represented in the quantum theory. One is energy is not continuous, but it comes in small but discrete units. 2, the elementary particles behave both like particles and like waves. 3, the movement of these particles is inherently random. And 4, it is physically impossible to know both the position and the momentum of the particles at the same time. The more precisely one is known, the less precise the measurement of the other is. And 5, the atomic world is nothing like the world we live in. So while at a glance, this might seem like just another strange theory, it contains many clues as to the fundamental nature of the universe, and more important, that even relativity in the grand scheme of things, if any one thing at that level could be said to be more than anything else, it describes the nature of the universe as being much different than what we see. As Niels Bohr said, anyone who is not shocked by quantum theory has not understood it. And as humans, we continue to explore and also doubt. We like proof and consistency of that proof. That's why we experiment and why experiments are repeated. And in our personal shift, there may not be consistency. Remember, energy is not continuous. It comes in small but discrete units. Solar flares, blasts through the gateways, interactions with others as they are exchanging energy with us. Every interaction that we have with another living thing, whether it's a tree, a plant, a dog, a human, we are exchanging energy. Do not fear the shifts you're experiencing. Do not negate them to be untrue, but be curious. Explore, question, trust yourself to follow your path and not that of another. Don't be that student that acts with the bell. Be the student that may remain standing when the bell rings, or at least ask why. Why are we standing or sitting when this bell rings? By the way, going back to that experiment, it was repeated many times. And whenever there was a student that refused to sit and stand with the others, that student was removed and replaced with just another student. The reason being is because science understood that the next student that would also follow the student that would not sit or stand would also refrain from sitting and standing, because then that too was a new precedent set. And you might be the one setting the new precedent. If you were to sit and just ponder this question, what causes you to change? It's an action or an event or an interaction of some sort. What causes your physical body to change? What causes your emotions to shift? What causes your mental processes and your belief system to shift? What causes your spiritual body to shift? It might be one, two, or many things that permeate your energy fields in order to create a shift in any one of those areas or all of those areas. But when we speak about energy and how we receive it, we consume energy in dozens of forms. Yet virtually all of the energy we use originates in the power of the atom. Nuclear fusion reactions energize stars, including the sun, and the resulting sunlight has profound effects on our planet. Cause and effect. Sunlight contains a surprisingly large amount of energy, as I've mentioned previously. On average, even after passing through hundreds of kilometers of air on a clear day, solar radiation reaching Earth with enough energy in a single square meter to run a mid-sized desktop computer. If all the sunlight could be captured and converted to electricity, what would that result in? When sunlight strikes a plant, some of the energy is trapped through photosynthesis, and it's stored in chemical bonds as the plant grows. And of course, we can recover that energy directly months or years later by burning plant products such as wood, which breaks the bonds and releases energy as heat, and light. And more often though, we use stored energy in the much more concentrated forms that result when organic matter, after millions of years of geological and chemical activity underground, turns into coal, oil, or natural gas. Either way, we are reclaiming the power of sunlight. That's energy in its purest transmutation. And the definition of energy is it never grows, it never shrinks, it transmutes. So this is what energy does. It transmutes where we can access it later. Some believe it's really important to wake before sunrise because during this time the energy of goodness and virtue descends upon the earth. When we know nature's calm and peaceful, this time before sunrise is most favorable for prayers and meditation and for working on oneself. During this time, you simply need to tune into the current day, work with your thoughts, set the intentions, and you'll be surprised how this mood of calmness carries you through the whole day while you have had success in setting your intents. How you start the day is how it will go. Now, in terms of energy and the sun rays, I've noticed the rays of the sun very different in their density, their color, and even the intensity. Just as I see auras around people and animals, I see the energy aura change as it's delivered to us and how we receive it. That's where our chakra system comes in, and we're ready to receive this energy. And where if we are fearful or we don't trust what this energy is, we set up blocks. And the rays or the codes and the keys, what is coming to us from the universe bounces away. Now let me back up just a little bit and go through the process again. We are, as humans, have billions of cells. And in all our cells, we have water. And the water is a conduit for the energy that comes to us. And we are energetic beings. And everything we interact with is energy. So an interaction with our family, with our friends, with loved ones, with a stranger that we meet during the day or coworkers, we are interacting energy. There's an exchange of energy. And when that exchange of energy happens, it creates a combustion in the energy field that gives us access to our personal dictionaries and our personal databases that then throw us into the space of our emotional energy field, our physical energy field, our mental energy field, and sometimes even that spiritual energy field. And those are the things that are changing. As the world around us changes, so does that database and that data that we access to. As our experiences change, we log more data, more information, we store it away. As new events happen, old data gets replaced because it's no longer relevant. It's obsolete, and we release that also. And it's important that we remain open and curious because we're in this in-depth time of change. Being curious helps us be open to the possibility of the responses from the universe as to what is happening. It's not something that's happening to us. We are a part of, and of course we want to know. But in that space, it's leaving space to understand what is happening. Even in the codes and the keys that are coming into you, the explanation as to what is happening will come to you. And thus, I suggest that you register with yourself as to what is happening versus becoming part of maybe a conspiracy or a fear-based of what's happening in the world. The sun is not only the center of our solar system, but it also holds immense significance in astrology. And in many cultures, through many lifetimes, it's been celebrated, it's been honored. But the sun rules over various aspects of our lives and plays a pivotal role in shaping our personalities, our relationships, and even our career paths. Understanding the influences of the sun in astrology can provide you with valuable insights into who you are and how you can harness its power for your personal growth and transformation. The sun spends about a month visiting each sign, and it takes a year to journey through the 12 signs of the zodiac. The sun is a masculine energy, and it rules Leo in the 5th house. And in astrology, the sun represents your core essence, your vitality, your life force. It determines your basic personality traits and influences your self-expression and creativity. So at the time you were born, where the sun was placed in the world is imprinted in your cellular structure. The sun's placement in your birth chart will reveal important information about your relationships and compatibility with others, and even your impact on career and success. It rules over various aspects of our lives, creating this core essence and individuality, and the basis of your programs and codes and keys that then get turned off or turned on or amended through your entire lifetime. Sun represents your core identity and sense of self, reflecting your individuality and purpose. Its placement in your birth chart reveals how you shine and express yourself in the world. For example, if your sun is in Leo, you may have a natural flair for leadership and crave recognition. On the other hand, if your sun is in Pisces, you might possess a compassionate and dreamy, creative nature. This is how we're born into this lifetime, with that imprint, and through time, as the codes and keys and programs change, we change. No person is the same as they were at the time of birth. That's the progression of the soul and the progression of the codes and keys. Frequently asked questions are, why does the sun's energy impact my physical health? Well, the sun's energy has a significant impact on your physical health. Sunlight can positively affect your mental health and is essential for the production of vitamin D, as well as other vitamins and other processes that are crucial for bone health and our immune system. There are ways that you can harness the power of the sun for your personal growth. It's understanding and engaging in activities that align with the sun's energy, such as spending time in nature, practicing self-care, cultivating a positive mindset, and maybe understanding a little bit where the sun is in your birth chart. Every day, the sun's energy fuels your creativity and self-expression, providing you with daily inspiration to shine. Like a brush on a canvas, it guides your artistic expression, illuminating your unique talents and passions. It shifts and changes. You might feel the urge to eat more green food, more vegetables, more fresh foods that are closer to the rays of the sun than those things that are processed, or those things that are food eaten by food, meaning meat and proteins that eat plants. And so it's an extra layer away from the first level of energy of the sun. So a few other ways that you can incorporate the sun's power and energy into your daily routine or into your space is getting outside. Enjoy any extra hours of daylight. Celebrate the season with friends and family. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving into the springtime period, so we're gaining daylight. So spending more time outside is always easier to do in this time of the year. Greet the energy of the sun. There's a shamanic practice of sun gazing, and that's to look into the sun. But I caution, do not do this at the sun's powerful energy. That might harm your eyes. If you engage in the practice of sun gazing, do this in the evening when the sun is setting, where it's more gentle and not staring directly, but as a soft gaze. Recognizing the energy of plants and how they carry the rays of sun. Bringing plants into the home or planting plants is also helpful to be in your environment. I love planting sunflowers, daisies, dandelions, chamomile, and rosemaries. Use these in your workings for a bit of extra solar mojo. Eat more green foods that support the natural process of the sun. Using organic oils that maybe contain the properties of the flowers. Germain, dandelions, sunflower, violet. We have a super powerful solar eclipse moving across the skies on April 8th of this year, and it will be 100% visible in the United States. It is in Aries, and with it will be the gateway of information accessible to you to create a new path for your being, to gain insight of who you are, where you are, what you are doing, and what you might be awakening to. This shift comes to us and may impact our emotional layer, our mental beings, that even with my words you might be thinking there is no way the sun can create such a shift. Be open to the possibility that we are in a time of transmutation of our energy. So old energy shifts into something new. Today, I just want to plant the seeds of thought. What if the sun can impact us? What if we get codes and keys and information and software and programs and we're leveling up? What if it does? What might you be afraid to see or experience that's different? What within you might be saying, no, that's simply not true? That might be a shift in your mental field that the universe is pushing you to open up to the possibility, to tap into your power for personal growth and transformation. Engage in the sun more through meditation or celebrating those solar rituals such as the eclipses that we're moving into. And if you're wondering what a sun meditation is, involves just finding a comfortable spot outdoors, preferably under the sun's rays, and allowing its warmth and energy to wrap around you. I oftentimes open my front door and let the sun rays come in, no matter what time of year it is. And the animals always gather on the front rug and lay in the sun as they absorb the heat, the warmth, the rays, and certainly the codes and the keys. And when you're outside, take a moment to close your eyes, take deep breaths, and visualize the sun's golden light infusing your entire being with positivity and strength. And when I say solar rituals, these can be performed during significant solar events. It's a ceremony such as the summer solstice to honor and connect with the sun's energy. And the ritual can be as simple as lighting a candle, offering gratitude, setting intentions for personal growth and transformation. By incorporating the sun meditation and any solar ceremonies into your life, it gives you focused intent on how you might harness the power of the sun to nurture your personal journey, your growth and transformation, and certainly the transmutation of old energy into something new. I'm Lori Wondra of Your Life Core, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Messages from the Universe podcast with Lori Wondra of Your Life Core. For current events or to schedule a private session with Lori, please visit yourlifecore.com.